My dear student, welcome back to our linguistic studies. Today we are going to talk about phonetic characteristics of a literary work. Well, you know that all images of a literary work are created by the vocabulary of a language, deliberate choice of words and their specific arrangement. A word is a material embodiment of literary speech. Taking part in the creation of an image, the word becomes its form. At the same time, the word is a component of the image. It is through the word that the unity of the form and the contents is created. The bright and complicated character of a literary image is understood through the words and syntactic structures used. Words as vocabulary units possess lexical, grammatical, phonetic, balance characteristics which are registered in dictionaries and have universal character, identical for all the speakers of the language. On the other hand, words are capable of evoking different associations and individual reactions which is connected with their symbolic character. Thus, the word demonstrates its universal and individual abilities of describing and presenting the plot of literary work and of creating a certain type of an image. Actually, it is through the words that we understand the static or dynamic development of the plot, the lyric or tragic type of narration, the positive or the negative evaluation of people, events, or facts. For actual speech, dictionary characteristics of words are more important, as they serve as substitutes of the fragments of concrete reality. In this way, words approximately but correctly reflect the outer world in our minds and make communication possible. Literary, emotive speech brings to the surface quite different features of words. One of the most important functions of a literary text is to expose the author's viewpoint to arouse in the reader a certain emotional response. This is why the role of the associative semantic relations of words becomes more important than their dictionary meanings. It is due to this ability of the word that a literary text obtains the ability of increasing the informative value of a literary work. It is with the help of the specific semantic and emotive abilities of words that the reader is able to remember the literary work throughout all his life. Different properties of words in a literary work are revealed through their deliberate choice. That is why words of a definite literary work make up a system which is relevant for this particular text. This is achieved through the cohesion of elements which makes each literary work unique. As a consequence, word images either retain their quotation character or demand explanation when used outside the system. Linguistic properties of words comprise phonetic, grammatical, lexical, and stylistic characteristics. Phonetic properties of words are realized in the way separate units or phrases sound. The sounds of most words, taken separately, will have little or no aesthetic value. It is in combination with other words that it may acquire a desired phonetic effect. Very often, the sounding of linguistic units is compared to music. According to the theory of sound symbolism, separate sounds, due to the articulatory and acoustic properties, may awake certain ideas, perceptions, feelings, images, vague though they might be. For example, in poetry, one cannot help feeling that the arrangement of sounds carries a definite aesthetic function, probably because of the fact that poetry is not entirely divorced from music. In prose, we usually do or have to do with phonetically motivated words. So, the process of direct copying of the sounds of nature, of the sounds of machine tools, animals and people is called the direct onomatopoeia. This is the combination of speech sounds which aims at the imitating sounds produced. Well, and here belongs such words as ding dong, cuckoo, meow, roar, splash, crack, and the alike. Indirect onomatopoeia is a combination of sounds, the main aim of which is to make the sound of the utterance an echo of its sense. For example, in the sentence by Edgar Allan Poe, I will read it. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain. The repetition of the sound s produces the acoustic effect resembling the rustling of the silk curtain. Indirect onomatopoeia is sometimes observed in the repetition of words which themselves are not phonetically motivated. For example, mostly he moved in urgent, precise, clipped movements. Go, go, go. And talked the same way. Staccato sentence. This is the sentence from Edgar Allan Poe as well. The onomatopoeic effect is achieved by the repetition of the word go, but the manner of walking is prompted by the word clipped, which suggests short, quick, abrupt motions, and the word combination staccato sentences. That emphasizes the desired acoustic effect in writing. Such cases of onomatopoeia are usually accompanied by definite punctuation, commas, or dashes. The next slide goes about the following. Very often, the desired acoustic effect is achieved by breaking the orthoepic norms, especially in the speech of the characters of the literary work. In such cases, the grapheme is used, showing mispronunciation or peculiar way of speaking. For example, you see this is written on the slide: going instead of going, joking instead of joking, and the alike. Sometimes the break of the orthoepic norms is seen in substitution of sounds. For example, thinking instead of thinking. Besides, acoustic effect is such cases gives much information on the character of the literary work. The misuse of the orthoepic norms can betray a foreigner or a poorly educated person. It can also reveal the dialectical way of speaking, which is commonplace in many regions, not only in Great Britain, but in many other countries. Okay, the next slide goes about repetition of similar sounds in close succession. Acoustic and even musical effect can be achieved by the repetition of similar sounds in close succession, which is known as alliteration. Usually these are consonants at the beginning of successive words. Alliteration in the English language is deeply rooted in the traditions of folklore and is frequently used in verse, emotive prose, in newspaper headlines, in the titles of books, in proverbs and sayings. For example, between and betwixt, to rob Peter to pay Paul, or in the titles of books, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, The School of Scandal. It should be said that alliteration is more often used in poetry, as the Anglo-Saxon tradition of verse has shown remarkable continuity. Nevertheless, emotive prose makes use of proverbs and sayings and lyrical passages in a literary work, combine very often both onomatopoeia and alliteration to make the reader feel circumstances, the environment, or the state of the soul of the characters to the full range. Next is the assonance. Assonance is a stylistic device based upon repetition of similar vowel sounds. So unlike the previous stylistic device, which is called alliteration, where the consonant sounds are repeated, whereas the assonance allows the vowel sounds to be repeated. For instance, I will read several examples. Hear the mellow wedding bells, or from Edgar Allan Poe. Try to light the fire. I lie down by the side to my bride. Fleet feet sweet by sleeping geese. Hear the lark and burden to the barking of the dark fox gone to ground. It is hot and it's monotonous. The crumbling thunder of seas by Robert Louis Stevenson. Well, the next phonetical our next phonetic rhyme is a literary device in which the repetition of the same or similar sounds occurs in two or more words, usually at the end of lines in poems or songs. In a rhyme in English, the vowel sound in the stressed syllables are matching, while the preceding consonant sound doesn't match. The consonants after the stressed syllables must match as well. For example, the words gaining and straining are rhyming words in English because they start with different consonant sounds, but the first stressed vowel is identical, as is the rest of the word. The term general rhyme refers to a variety of phonetic likeness between words. Well, there are certain types of rhymes, and we are going to talk about them. The first one will be the syllabic rhyme. Syllabic rhyme, you will see that in the words bottle and fiddle, cleave and silver, patter and pitter are examples of syllabic rhyme. That is, the words, they have a similar sounding last syllable but without the stressed vowel. Then goes imperfect rhyme. For instance, wing and carrying, sit in perfect and reflect, and the subject are examples of imperfect rhyme. This is a rhyme between a stressed and unstressed syllable. Next is the assonance or slant rhyme. Exist in words having the same vowel sound. You have already heard about this and you already know about this. For instance, kill and bell, wall and haul or ball, shake and bake, and so on. Okay, and then goes the consonants rhyme that exists in words having the same consonant sound, such as rabbit and robber, ship and sheep. Okay, our next type of rhyme is alliteration or head rhyme. It refers to matching the initial consonant sounds, such as the C and seal, or ship or sh. Okay, and the next, a very specific, quite an interesting variation of rhyme is I rhyme. That is also called sight rhymes or spelling rhymes. It refers to words that have the same spelling but different sounds. In such case, the final syllables have the same spellings, but they are pronounced in a different way, such as cough and bow, or love and move. Well, what we have learned today. We have talked about characteristics of words. We have thrown light on phonetically motivated words. We focused our attention on such a phenomenon that is called onomatopoeia and its kinds, direct and indirect. Then we discussed what are the ways of achieving the desired acoustic effect. And we have learned about alliteration, assonance, rhythm and rhyme. Well, my dear student, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time dedicated to listening and watching this video. I'm hopeful that this information was very useful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me via our Google Class, where, by the way, you will be given some tasks to do within a week time. Well, see you soon. Bye-bye.